Okay. We're going to start again, Zayin Amid Beis. Amar Rav Yochanan Nachamol. We are figuring out the minimum size of a circle sukkah. When you're done, pass it down to our guests as well. Amar Rav Yochanan Sukkah Asuya Ki Kivshan Im Yesh Be'Kei Fok De Leishev Ba Chav Dalid B'nei Adam Kisheira V'im Lapsula. We have a circular sukkah. If a circular sukkah has enough to seat 24 people, it's kosher. If not, it's possible. Kiman. Kirebi. Tomar. What does Rebbe say? Kol sukkah she'im by arba amois al arba amois. Psula. Says Rebbe, it needs to be 4 by 4. Michti. I want to draw a picture.
How do we make a 3D image of a circle? Like with Gemaras, can we make it?
No, I'm drawing a picture now. This is going to get crazy, Chaver. Okay, we have a circle. The circle is?
Chicken might taste good.
Circle is 24. Otazoi. Chavra, that's a circle. It's 24. So I'll bring in the whiteboard, but I figured it was too much. Why have a whiteboard at home is a different question.
There's a whiteboard?
Wait, at home? I have a whiteboard at home. I just thought of it this second. I would have thought I would have brought it. I have a whiteboard at home. The question is we still have markers, but okay? So far so good. We also know another detail. We know that a sukkah, according to Rebbe, has to be a square of 4 amos by 4 amos. So far, so good. Beautiful. If this is 4 by 4, this is the difficult part, Chevra. That means that this line over here is, guess what? Also 4. Very good. That wasn't a trick question. That was not a trick question. Now, we have to figure out how big La Mesa is the circle. That's all we got to do today.
Times 3.
Circumference?
Times 3.
Says the Gemara, let's do it together. Let's work through it together. Says the Gemara, Michti. Gav Rabam Siyase, if a person is an Amma, Chayesh Be'Kefay Shalisha, and the Gemara has its own math rule book, that anything that a circumference is 3, then what? Yesh Be. If it's 3, then it's 1. Okay? If it's 3, then it's 1. Then, if it's 4, what should it be? 12. That was very simple. If this is 4, how big should the circle be? 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Says the Gemara. So what in the world do you need 24 people? 12 should be enough. Oh, wait. Chaser Sagi. Says the Gemara, answers the Gemara. Hani Mili. When do we say that a circle is 3 times its diameter? Is Hani Mili Be'igula. That's only a circle. Avo Biribua. But if it's a square, what do you need? Baya Tfei. It needs to be more. So says the Gemara, what's going on over here? So back to the drawing board. Mechti. Kama Meruba. Well, we can explain right now. Good. Kama Meruba Yoiser al Ha'igel. How much more is the perimeter of a square more than a circle? Very simply, I don't even want to use a picture I just drew. If I have a square, I think this is easier to see. This is good. If I have a square, to get around the square is longer than to get around the circle. To get around the circle might be 12. How much is it to get around the square around the circle? Because we know that the minimum size sukkah has to be able to hold a square. So how much is that going to be? Says the Gemara, Kama miruba yoiser ali eagle revia. It's a quarter bigger.
Quarter of the square, quarter of the circle.
Good question. Good question. Says the Gemara b'shitzer saki. Quarter more than the circle, and therefore, if I have a 12 circle, what's the square? 16. Now, this step of the Gemara is almost It's almost a funny step. If I told you a square is 4 by 4 and I asked you what's the perimeter, you tell me 16. 4, 4, 4, 4. That's what the Gemara just said, by the way.
Right.
The Gemara just said, what's the perimeter of the square? 16. So if the circle is 12, the square has to be 16. So how can you tell me a circle of 12? Because it needs to hold a square of 16.
That's why I'm saying you have to go back to the drawing.
So
it actually goes according to the drawing we just
No,
had.
no.
It's talking about these things.
A circle
So-
is 3
so-
times
that's
a
the
quarter
Gemara
more
said.
than 16 is 24.
So I'll tell you. I don't know if you have to go through what's going on the side of the page over here, the Rashi and the Taisus and whatnot.
A quarter more.
I don't know. I said that last night because it makes it easier for the brain to be typhus. I don't know if Pashim Shad and the Gemara needs to say that. So that's why, because the words of the Gemara, you're answering a kasha. Again, I don't want to make us confused. This is what I did last night. But the words of the Gemara just say that the perimeter of a circle is 12, and we need the perimeter of a square at 16. That's what the words of the Gemara say. Now, one could ask, we're not like talking to each other, like what in the world's going on over here? And now that's really what the Gemara now goes and says. Right? Look at the next step of the Gemara. Hani mili. When are you going to tell me that the square is going to be 16? Is be'igol denafik migui riva. That's if your circle is inside your square. Avol ribua denafik migui gula. But if the square is around this, if the circle, is around the square, bayotfei. Mishum Mursa, that's so now. In very simple, and this is, the maskan is very easy. The steps of the Gemara are a little bit more complicated. Chavra, this is what we need. If I were to give you a math question, I need this area. But I want to make it in a circle. What would you do? You would say, okay, I need the whole square, I would tell you. So you know what you do? You say, okay, Gavaldik. You make a circle around the square. Now, if the circle is around the square, now, if I figure out how big this circle is, does it hold the whole square? Yes. But we need to have at least the square. Before, when we did it, it was backwards. Before we put the circle inside. Now, why we thought that is very troublesome. And the steps of the Gemara to get here is even more troublesome. But that's what happens. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So now we have here. So now we have something very simple. So now we know. And how do we do that? Got to figure out the diameter of the circle. How do you figure it out? We go back to 6th grade, and we know that the diagonal of the circle is the diagonal of the square. It's literally straight out of a region question.
5 and 4.
There's no more regions, right? No more regions, right? There is regions? They didn't get rid of them? Oh, just COVID they suspended them? You have an 8th grade? 8th grade too? What is that? In Europe, you guys, 2 of them maybe. Oh, the chef is dull. Oh, the chef. Nah, he needs some powder. Can someone throw some powder on him? He needs some powder. It doesn't look real. So now, baking this does. So now, we got to figure out what's the diagonal. So now, very good. Chavra, I give you a math equation. I tell you every side of the square is 4. What's the diagonal? So you go
5
back.
and 3/5.
There you go. You go a squared plus b squared equals c squared, the square root of c, and thus, calculator, finish. That's what the Gemara does. That's the whole Gemara. Let's figure this out. Call amsa biribua. Any amma that's in a square. Amsa trechom shebelachsunya. What is the diagonal? Is 1 2/5. So if every side is 1, the diagonal is 1 2/5. So if it's 4, what is it? Says the Gemara 5 and 3/5. So now you got to figure that now times 3. Thank you. 5 and 3/5 times 3 is good. Very good. And all of us who failed in math, just nod your head and move on. 16 and 4/5.
So why do we need 24?
Frack Gemara, what do you need 24? It's ridiculous. It's like, you hire the contractor, tell him I need to hold 3 people, and he builds you this mansion. Like, what are you doing? I told you I need a dining room to sit 3 people. Why are you giving me a dining room table as I? That's what happened over here. Said Rabbi, I need a sukkah. Told 16. You know what he went and he built? He built us a sukkah that held 24. Says Marloi Duck. It sounds like an Israeli contractor. No, Beni Ben Chamai. What's the big deal? Slicha, you're paying for it, I'm paying for it. Okay. Then it's a big deal all of a sudden. Loi Duck. Hey, Mardamrina Loi Duck says the Gemara. Porta. Tuva mi Amrina Loi Duck. It makes no sense. So now we go back to the drawing board.
Loi duck means what translation?
Not precise. Duck as in diyuk. Loy Dak, he wasn't precise. Thank you. Eimer Damrina Loy Dak, when do we say he was not precise? Is a porta. Tuva mi Amrina Loy Dak? For a lot of it, do we say, porta means a little bit. Tuva, for a lot of it, mi Amrina Loy Dak? So Amrli Rav Kisha Brei Rav Yehu another Rav Ashi, Chizar Rav Ashi. Let's start back. How do we figure out it was 24? Because we said there were 24 people. 24 people. We said, what's the width? What's the shoulder to shoulder person? We said, it's an amma. Says the Gemara, you forgot how to measure. Try again. Mi sabris. Kamra b'amsa Yosef. What do you have? A zag yishmak bulvana mention? Nein. Tolosa gavri b'ten. Every Chassidus puts the other Chassidus in when they read the Gemara. Ayin sham. Tolosa gavri. You know what I'm talking about. Tolosa gavri b'tarti amosa yasvi. 3 people sit in 2 amos. 2/3 of an amma. Very good. 3 people sit in 2/3 of an amma. 2 amos. So now, if you have 24, do the math. How much is 24 times 2/3? Shitzar 16. Says more 1 second. Now it's too small. So now your circular sukkah is what? 16. And what do we say? We said 16 and 4/5. And then shifsar nechul chum shabina. Now just the words. Shifsar means 17. Nechi means subtract. Chumsha is a 5th. Now why the Gemara didn't say 16 and 4/5? It says 17 minus a 5th. Was? Good yid. You answered the kasha with the kasha. You didn't just explain anything. You said that's kacha. Okay. When we get there, I'm going to ask the same kasha. So there's a moiridik maral on Arba'am Chasrachas, by the way. Moiridik maral, moiridik. I said it over one time here. Weiter. I have no clue right now. My brain is in a circle. If I think about it, I'll come to it. I just remember there's a moiridik maral.
Okay.
Loidak. So loidak.
But it's out of the box.
Says the Gemara, again, Nachamal. Certain things just break rules. You can't have a kula.
Extra, but you can't take off.
Minimum. We Menachem. This one's for you. We won $5,000. Okay, so I gave you $2,000. That's not 5. What are you doing? No. So if you gave 6, then you can say, I gave a little bit too much. Light duck. I got it. You pay the Israeli cab driver. He says it's 65 shek. Say, here's a 50. He says, okay, now where's the 15 shekel? No, loy dog. You buffoon. You want to give 100, then you could say loy dog.
Why is it the other way around? If we say that the sukkah has to be...
No, because we're in the next step. I'm just going to say it outside. We're saying now that a sukkah really needs to be, when you convert a 4x4 into a circle, is 16 and 4/5. Right. But Rav Yechanan's story with the 24 people is only 16. So it's too small. 16 and 4/5 is the minimum size of a sukkah, and he built. Good. Amrli Rav Ashi, Lo'ilam. Let's go back. Now, the kasha that the child, and we're just going to make it a child just so we don't have to feel bad. The 6th grader raises his hand like, Rebbe, why don't we just measure a person and figure it out? It's a good question, and it's a very bothersome question because the Gemara started with it's an amma. Where it says, oh no, it's smaller. Where it says, oh, we messed up. It's back to being an amma. Understand? Take a tape measure, line up the ganze cheder, and sit there and measure the chevra and finish.
When they decided here in America to use a foot.
No. And now our Europeans are getting nostalgic. Baruch Hashem. Trust the seltzer. But be careful. It's not opened and it's warm. It gets crazy. I told you. Be careful. Omer le Rav Ashi. La'ilam Gavra b'amsa Yosef. So if a person is an amma, 24 people is 24 ammas. V'Rav Yochanan. So why did Rav Yochanan require such a big sukkah? Makoim gavri loika chashiv. What does that mean? Take it slow. The place, can we get a picture book, please? The place of the man, let's just translate first. The makoim of the person, loika chashiv. There's 2 ways you could fill up a circle with people. You could have them sit inside or you could sit outside. If I told you that this circle holds 24 people, you wouldn't be sure how to do it. Meaning, because I just told you to measure 24 people. So originally we thought they were all sitting inside the circle, which is probably the pashtus. Answers the Gemara, right? Answers the Gemara, no. They're sitting outside the sukkah. If they're sitting outside the sukkah, then the sukkah is much smaller. How much smaller? One person on either side to get the sukkah inside of them. That's something that your brain just has to think about for a second. You all can figure it's svara. It's svara. Just think about it for a second. Again, if we were all sitting inside, and then we said, okay, no, let's sit outside, the same size circle, the sukkah inside is going to be smaller by how many people? The two people on the sides, because they're no longer inside, now they're outside. Everyone got that one? So says the Gemara, Kama, have...
So it's like 20. So it's 20 hours.
How does it two people? Why is it dafka to really get two people?
Yeah, where's two people?
It's larger because
it's obviously it's larger.
Oh, man.
I don't know what you just said. I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. Yeah?
How do we know that this is not 6 hours?
You say two people.
Because it's too smaller.
Why two?
I understand it's smaller. Where do you get to two?
I don't even know how to answer your question. Because they're not there anymore.
Who?
No one's in the sukkah. Everyone's sitting outside.
7 and 5th amas. You're minusing 7 and 5th.
I'm not sure which one of us is crazy.
Each one is 1 hour.
Each one is 1 amma.
How do we get 2?
No.
There's only there's two sides, right?
Right. Watch. I think this will help. If we're going azai, or we're going... I don't even know what I'm drawing. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to help explain it. The makim of the person is no longer there.
Which person? Why is it 2? Why is not 1?
Because one person on either side.
Of what?
If I have a circle and I fill in, we should have brought the menchies. Okay, I apologize. I got the kinder menchies, got the rebel, it's geschmack. They sell a tish now. Mit the branches. My wife's like, when they were Mamish.
And no
you
fork.
go to bingo, by the way.
It says with the branches. My wife says, what's a branch? Branches. Branches. Branches are benches. Up the side. Yeah, there's branches. I say. Yeah. 1 second. I don't know how to explain this. If I have people sitting in a circle, yeah, azai, and now I take the circle around them and I try to put it inside, is it going to work? No. It's not going to work.
Everyone agrees that it's
No, so now how much smaller is it going to be? It's going to be the width of each person on the side to get it in, because we're 1 amma wide.
So it should be alongside the whole sukkah.
So, no, it's true. So it's a circle. So it goes 1 amma smaller. 1 amma smaller means on each side, because we're figuring out the diameter, right? The diameter is going to be 2 amma smaller.
Okay, so let's say there's no sides of the circle.
No, good. So now you have a diameter that's 6.
One person on this side.
Yes. Yes. Now look at the picture, Chaver. Now the diameter is 6. Now everything is good in life. Let's read it inside.
It's equivalent of 2 people not together.
One on either side.
One on this
Yo,
side.
let's read it inside. We're running into my earth. Kabe havilu timne sar. Now it's going to be 18. Why is it going to be 18? Because if it's 6 amos times 3 is 18. Finish. We just fact the Gemara. Okay, it's bothering me that people aren't understanding this. I'm just trying to think about what
I think the confusing part.
If you take off 1 person length from the left,
Yes.
the right automatically follows suit.
Correct.
Like 8-inch diameter,
Correct.
make it,
Correct.
So why are you doubling this?
I'm not. I'm going from an 8-inch diameter down to 6-inch diameter. One second.
The calculation should be the average sitting position of or standing position of a person.
One
Right?
platter that's not having leftovers.
You're assuming they're sitting.
Sitting.
Person
Correct. No, it's sideways. It doesn't make a difference. So if I'm sitting like this and he's sitting azai, and we're sitting around the thing, so now if we have to go on the outside of the thing, then we're 1 shorter on either side.
Why without with those two?
Because that
It's in all directions.
Stop it. We missed you.
The number 2 is the problem here. It's either 1 or 24.
it's 1 on either side.
Yeah, but if you take off 1 side, guess what?
No,
The
that's
other side
wrong.
also gets
Right.
automatically.
So that's why it went from 8 minus 1. Now it's 6.
So you're taking off 1.
1 on either side, which is taking off 2
Sides the circle.
of the diameter.
Taking out 2 people. Doesn't matter where you take them out from.
Trying to say, I don't know why. I don't know why it's not coming out in English. It's a problem. Okay, we have to stop for Meyer. Shkaya.